All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another student stage. We do these, like I had mentioned, every other week. The other week, or I should say 2 weeks ago, we didn't get to do this just because of scheduling issues. So we are back again. It feels like it's been forever since we've done it, actually, now that I'm really realizing how long it's been. But this week, we have another extremely valuable member of our community and our premium community, Storm Trades. He has been with us for quite some time now, and he was actually mentioned if you were listening to the student stage that we did previously with Trader Kira. That's up on YouTube in case you guys missed it. um, he had mentioned Storm Trades multiple times throughout the stream, just talking about how he really respects his trades and how he has learned from him. And he if you guys want to listen to it, definitely go check it out. I won't speak on it too much, but that being said, at that point I knew we had to bring on Storm Trades as our next person to speak with all of you guys and get on the stage. So without further ado, I'll let Storm chime in here. Are you there, Storm? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. What's up, man? How you doing?
Uh, Doing good, doing good. Thanks for having me. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it, man.
Yeah.
Really humbled to be asked to talk on the student stage. So I thank Matt and I thank you, Nate. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course. So to start, usually we have people, come on and just sort of give us a background of yourself and also of, your trading journey that you've been on so far.
Yeah, of course. So before I get started, I think it's only appropriate that I shout out to the baddest group of traders on the planet, the CL gang. Um, to the guys and gals that are in there, I appreciate you. You're helping me across. You're helping me with my journey. And of course, for any of those who do not know what I'm talking about, among others, there's an oil futures group located in the premium Discord. It's what I call my trading team, and I go to the trading desk every day, and that's the group of guys and gals that help me run my business. Honestly, so it's one of the incredible parts of the community, but I want to get into that later. But anyway, shout out to the CL gang. Let's go.
Yes, yeah. Shout out to
Um,
them.
so also, I probably should clear this up. There's maybe confusion out there. My name is not Storm. That is a badass name, but it's not mine. My name is Billy. Okay, I'm just a regular Billy. Storm is my German Shepherd, and her bed is directly underneath my trading station. And she doesn't actually trade. I've actually had somebody ask me that. She's just a dog. If she did trade, it would be DGen meme coins on Solana, guaranteed.
Right, that's her
Um,
personality.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a little background on me. I'm from Florida originally, Fort Lauderdale. I think you and Matt were down there. Maybe Las Olas. I'm from right down the street from there originally. Um, that's where you guys were, right?
Yep, yeah, yeah. We were
Yeah,
down there about a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago.
yeah.
Yep.
So I grew up. I could have walked to where you guys were in 10 minutes. So yeah. Then I spent almost 17 years living in New York City and working on Wall Street. So I was on the commercial real estate side of the business. And I was thinking about this. Strangely enough, with all the friends that I have working in various roles within banking, finance, private equity, you name it, I had never heard of futures trading until after I left New York City in 2020 and arrived in Western North Carolina. So I just think it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, yeah. You spend 17 years in the field, and then you finally leave, and then you go, wait a minute, hold on. There's something else here that I'm
Yeah,
missing.
yeah. Obviously, you always wish you would have started to learn something earlier, right? Like guitar, or
Hmm.
speaking another language. Obviously, I would have loved to have learned how to trade 10 years ago. But regardless, it doesn't matter when. It just matters that you start if it's something
Exactly.
that you love. So, but just a little background on kind of where I started here in my trading journey. So I think like a lot of people on here, and I think I've listened to almost all of the student stages. I love them, and there's a common theme in terms of how I got started in trading, which is through crypto. And I've heard that a bunch, and I see that online when I'm interacting with new traders on the Discord. A lot of them have a background in crypto, and so did I. So back in late 2020, I was trading, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure. Full port 50x levered Bitcoin longs is a strategy.
For some people, it is.
But I bet you there's a lot of people on this call right now that was their strategy at some point. But hell, I did think it was my strategy, and I mean, looking back on it, it's kind of silly, right? But through 2021, I mean, I thought I might be the next interview from the Market Wizards author. I mean, that's how good I was doing with my long only Bitcoin strategy. And then, of course, like every great story, there's a tragic end. By November of 2022, my equity curve looked sort of like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And it was time for me to figure out if, because I was hooked by that time on trading. I knew it was just something in there that I wanted to try and conquer, even though you can never really conquer it. It's just why it's so interesting to me. It's it's a real puzzle. So I was hooked, and I wanted to start learning actually how to read the market. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that resonate with this, but I started going down the Telegram group route, and I started following influencers. I joined a couple of Discords. They were all crypto related. And I had settled upon a hidden divergence strategy. That was me. I had settled into it. But there's obviously there was something was missing. And when you're not in a market like 2021 in crypto or in 2017 in crypto, you're not in a market where it's just up every day. You actually have to start reading the market. You cannot pattern trade. You get crushed.
Right.
So there was obviously something missing there. And I've thought about this as I was preparing for the call today. I don't know how I stumbled across ICT. I have no idea. It must have just been on the algorithm on YouTube.
Right. It just happened.
Right? That's right. And that's a theme here, and I'll get to that later with how I found Ash.
Mm-hmm.
But I found this was early 2023, and I stumbled across the 2022 model. And I feel like there's a lot of people that kind of got their entry into index futures this way as well. But the 2022 model, and I just started digging into that, and frankly, that was a pretty good. It's probably the best series of videos that ICT I think has ever done.
Yeah.
Agreed. But and from then it was hello index futures, and honestly, like a whole new world of opportunity started coming into my brain in terms of, man, maybe I can actually do this as a full-time business.
Mm-hmm.
But at time, ICT was effectively my mentor, right? I mean, effectively, because I'm just following along the 2022.
Right.
But I'm sure there's not a lot of people on here who don't know who ICT is, but he is an emotional car wreck. And I found it very difficult to learn from him. Like I understood quickly that the concepts were right. It made sense to me. Getting a daily bias, the time frame alignment, time being of the utmost importance, all these things. But I was an emotional roller coaster, just trying to follow the way he was teaching entries, which was a 1 minute entry. And the 2022 model, if you don't really understand the 30,000 foot view as to what narrative is playing out, you really end up kind of being it's really kind of a model that's just a pattern trade. Mm-hmm. It really is just a reversal pattern trade. And so, there was something I wasn't getting, and I was kind of tired of ICT's teaching style and trying to find these needles in the haystack through these 3-hour rants.
Right, because you really
And
do have to hunt for them.
oh my God. I even have a site that's an AI site that is specifically to try and find things within every video that ICT has ever put out there. And I
I've
would
never heard
use
of that.
that. Okay. And even that just doesn't help. So again, the algorithm, gave me a gift. And one day I'm sitting in bed in the morning and I'm on my iPad and Ash comes on one of the streams. He had one of the many streams that he posts on there. And I just really love the way this guy emotionally engaged with the market. It resonated with me. I know this for a fact. There's no business that's successful in the world that is run on emotions.
Right.
You have to have process, and I get that. You have to have a plan. You have to have rules in order to implement the process. And then you sort of have to. One of the things that Matt always talks about is you're going to let the probabilities play out. The price
Right.
is going to do whatever it wants whenever it wants. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things he says all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started watching Matt's content and then watching the Twitter post, what I started realizing is this is the key. It's a repetitive process. It's the same thing every day. And that is where the business part of it comes in. And so that the lights started going off and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. It's ICT, but there's a real emotional stability here and there's a process, and I absolutely gravitated towards it. And I'm not sure that the premium group was out for very long before I joined it. But yeah, I mean, and then immediately what I realized was, I was at home. Um,
Right. You felt like
you got,
you were
yeah,
comfortable, and you were like, okay, I feel like I can really dive deep into this community just because, aside from premium or just public community or YouTube or Twitter or whatever, you just were at this point in your journey feeling like, okay, I think that I'm finding the place where I belong because you're taking the concepts that you already know and understand and then applying the discipline and the emotional control, combining them, and then, really taking strides in your trading and your process.
well, 100%. But I would go a step further. I actually truly learned about time frame alignment and developing a simple way to arrive at a daily bias from Matt and from the Unicorn University. So those were some missing links with the ICT, right? So I could call 5 or 6 different PD arrays and entries through them, but like that's not helpful if you're not looking at the marketplace from a higher time frame, 30,000 foot view.
Right.
So it's understanding narrative and then combining all these, as Matt talks about, confluences, right? So when all these things start to align, you've put yourself in the best possible situation for your model to work out. But at the end of the day, it still might not, but you're just looking for an edge.
Right.
So my wife and I work part-time at a casino, which is great because it allows me to as blackjack dealers,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is a far cry from a commercial real estate banker in New York City. Um, but there's a lot of things that are talked about in the Discord that are not even trading related. It's about how to like there's ways to live your life where you don't have an emotional roller coaster, and one of those ways is multiple streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
So I work 3 days a week as a blackjack dealer, but it's a fascinating kind of segue into the mindset of a trader,
Yeah.
because when people are gambling, it's very you see the FOMO, you see the revenge trading on the blackjack table, you see people become an emotional wreck, you
Yeah.
see how they deviate from their betting strategy, and it's fascinating. It's like to be able to watch that and then to realize that what we're doing in Unicorn University and learning how to reprice and implement this model is we're basically card counters at a casino. So card counters at a casino, They're just providing themselves with a higher probability than someone off the street who plays the game perfect. So their probability, instead of being 51% chance if you play perfect to win, it just goes up to 60. And that's what we're doing in trading, right? And that's the beauty of taking the emotions out of it and just understanding the probabilistic nature of this business.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff just started to come together when I joined the Discord. And my journey has basically come from hobbyist who lost a lot of money in crypto to feeling like 2025 I'm going to be able to implement the business plan that I've been developing over 2024.
Yeah, and
So
I think that that's so the fact that you work part time at the casino, and like you said, a reoccurring theme comes up in our community where you know all the concepts and everything that we talk about do they apply to real life, like obviously in so many different areas of our lives, but the fact that you specifically are working at a casino part time, which is great because that's like again, it's just having the multiple streams of income to control that emotion when you trade. That's key in itself. But the fact that your specific side gig or side hustle is, I mean, par for par what this is. I mean, it's like
yeah,
in terms of emotional control, in terms of, I mean, it is as close as you can get to trading. That's not it's or it's, the correlation between the two. I mean, they're one and the same, right? Like to an extent, and so that's crazy that you. I mean, it's almost like. Well, and it's not almost like it literally is like you're getting real in-person experience when you're away from the screen for trading, and then you come to the screen and you can, you know what I mean? You're so like into it, even when you're not on the charts, which is adding. I mean, that's just going to help you grow as a trader, obviously. So
well,
that's it. So
one
interesting.
100%. I mean, I find myself giving people advice like, "Hey, risk management is actually pretty important here. You want to make sure, you can't bet it. You can't play this game if you just go all in for no particular reason here. You want to make aggressive moves when you have the odds in your favor, right? So if you have an 11, anybody who's played blackjack before, if you have an 11 and the dealer has a 6, you want to double down because you have a probabilistic advantage
Yeah.
over the casino at that time, right? So, and like Matt always says, price can and will do whatever it wants whenever, and so will those cards. But over the long run, you'll have a positive expected value. You will make money if you just play aggressive when you have the odds in your favor. And
Right.
it's fascinating. I mean, it has done wonders for my understanding of emotional control because when you see people every day blowing out their capital because they can't, because they revenge trade. You start to see that, and you know what you don't want to be like, and so
Yes.
you start to implement that in your own life. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
yeah,
And
fascinating.
yeah, that's. I mean, that's so. I mean, like that almost could be like a recommendation for people. Like, hey, if you want to get a second job, you could work
Yeah,
part time at a casino, and then you can get some. You could work on, or at least maybe not work on, but see and understand emotional control from the other side. Like you can, like how you're saying, you're seeing and watching it play out in real time, right before your very eyes, in person. So and like how you're saying, you're like telling people oh, you don't want to go all in and yada yada yada. You get to, oh, it's like a you get to reverse psychology everything. You get to see what it's like from the like the the
yeah,
dealer side, so that you're watching the quote unquote traders lose their emotion or their emotional control, and then from there you just get, or I didn't mean reverse psychology, I meant reverse engineer. That's what I was trying to say.
yeah,
Reverse engineer
yeah.
everything is what you're doing from seeing it happen right in front of you. It's like that's if for everybody listening, if you have the opportunity and you have the time to get a part-time job at a casino and you're looking to be successful in trading, that could be an avenue for you. You could try that out. Um, but
Well, that's true. That's true. The casino business is weird, so I'll just throw that out there.
well,
But
it's
the
true,
time,
true. True.
But the hours are great, and because I can trade almost every morning. Some mornings I have to cut it a little short, but for the most part, I uh, I have the ability to trade, from the cash open until about 11 o'clock in the morning. And I only work 3 days a week. Most of those are the weekends. So there's like 1 or 2 days during the week that it kind of jams me up a little bit. But
Mhm.
anyway, I digress on that. But it's it's always interesting when there's something that you're learning and you're trying to apply in business, and you can start to see that out in the real world. Because I tell people this all the time. Buddy of mine says, "Why do you want to trade?" And I said, "Because trading is the greatest job in the world." And he's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Because," I was like, "I mean, let me explain it to you. I've thought about it. Because you don't have to work for anybody else."
Right.
And for me, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, as I get older, I don't want to work for somebody else,
Yeah.
honestly, and I don't want to do things that I don't want to do. I don't. I was in the corporate world for almost 20 years, and I'm at the point in my life where if I can work for myself and I don't have to do things that I don't want to do, well, that is the ultimate freedom.
Yeah.
But what's cool about trading is that in order for you to be successful, you have to conquer the hardest test known to man and woman, which is controlling yourself, controlling your emotions, controlling your psychology, your mindset, and honestly your health. So for me, so it's more than money. To This is like, I really believe you become a good trader, and if you do it the right way, you're actually becoming a better person. And that sounds cheesy, but I just can't see how the two don't work hand in hand. Obviously, it's hard to maintain control if you're making a ton of money, right? We've heard people talk about. Kira was talking about Lambos. That's not something we talk about here, but there is something to being wildly successful, but not having a base to kind of fall back on in terms of what's your real why to doing this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's the greatest job in the world. Nobody can convince me otherwise. And I spent 2024 building as much as I possibly can a model that I can rely on, utilizing the unicorn as my base. And my goal for 2024 was to build up $1 million in prop capital. And I don't know how long the prop firms are going to be here. I just don't. But I think at some point there'll be some sort of regulation in the industry. So I just don't want to rely on that forever. 2025 is about extracting as much capital out of prop firms as I possibly can, and then deploying that into personal accounts and to, frankly, other investments.
Right.
And so what's kind of cool is, from the time that I joined the premium Discord, and I said to myself, all right, I'm going to see if this actually works. I'm going to forward test this. I'm going to use it to build capital. And then depending on how that goes, I'll have basically found out if I have my model that I could confidently go into the future using. And so, um, it sounds like I'm like showing off or whatever. I'm not. I'm just explaining um, how I was able to utilize this Discord to grow my prop capital. And again, it's just prop capital, right? It's not that big of a deal. But I have at this point ready to deploy into 2025 a total of $2.25 million in funded capital. That's 20 maxed out Apex accounts. It's 15 50Ks and five 250Ks, and then I have five funded at Top Step.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't I know trade them. I've been starting to trade them a little bit, but my goal to start to get the balances up a little, and I have. But 2025, the goal is to absolutely crush it, utilizing the unicorn, taking money out of pops, and funding my personal side of the business, and that's the goal.
Yeah. And what a goal that is to have. I mean, you're clearly on track for obtaining that goal. I mean, just in funding alone, that is an incredible achievement, which I had mentioned to you previously. But I mean,
Yeah.
That's
Thank
like
you.
yeah, of course. I mean, for the people listening and the people that are listening to the recording as well. I mean, they're all. I can guarantee you that everyone. I mean, that's what everybody's trying to strive for, right? I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, everybody has their own goals and has their own time frame. But at the end of the day, people who are interested in using the prop firms, I mean, that right there is the goal. And I know that you had mentioned before that, like, before, right before you mentioned that, you had said that you just joined the group without really any thought of really, I guess, you never really had the thought of achieving that right there. You just sort of joined the group like, oh, well, I hope that this works. And then you go from just hoping that it works and seeing what happens to, having $2.5 million in funding. I mean, that right
Yeah.
there
Yeah. And a
goes
lot
to
of,
show. I was gonna say it goes to show you as a person. One, because how you had mentioned, trading is like a direct reflection of yourself and makes you a better person. The more you can conquer it, which I completely agree with. And also just a testament to like the people that join the community, right? It's like you came in with the mentality of like, I'm going to do this. And you did it and and you achieved it. You blew it out of the water. You didn't even have the number, maybe 2.5 million in your head when you started it, but you
no.
joined with the intention of being successful. And now you are 20 steps ahead in that direction.
Uh, Agreed, and a lot of it is from the Convesco's one shot, one kill. I mean,
Mm,
I was used to. I mean, that is for me. That is the way. I don't try and go full port. I'll go about half, and then I'll trade the unicorn to get all the way through the account.
mm,
But I see people all the time just getting funded that way, one shot, one kill. It's fantastic. But I really wanted to see. I wanted to use the funded or to get funded. Basically, if I could get them funded for the most part, just utilizing the strategy, and actually trading, then I'll be able to. I'll feel comfortable going forward that this is going to work out. And I've seen it happen. I've seen Matt um, take payouts. I've seen plenty of the members take payouts. So it's just I no longer am. I no longer ask myself if it's going to happen. It's just when.
exactly. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah.
Exactly. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's it right there. It's a matter of time. That's all it is. It's just eventually
Yeah. 100%.
you're going to be making withdrawals, especially with, I mean, just compounding all of those accounts. I mean, that takes it's not easy to do that, like how you said, and actually, I should touch on this as well. You mentioned Kimvesco and the OSOK method, and you specifically mentioned that you do it in your own way, like you have your own
Yes.
method of doing it. And again, that's just another testament to you and what you're doing, and your success, because I mean, that's our entire community, right? Like independent thinking. You took that ideology of one shot, one kill, and you put your own spin on it and said, this is what I'm going to do because of, your psychology or, your risk management or whatever, all the above, whatever the case is. You took it, you adapted it to your own style, and I mean, look, $2.5 million in funding later, right? It's clearly working for you.
Yeah.
So I love hearing that itself. That's another thing where I'm hearing that and I'm going, independent thinking. Like, you're taking
Yeah.
something that you
100%.
learned and you're making it your own.
Yeah. And this is going to sound like a shameless plug for the Discord. Okay. But I don't care, because my journey from hobbyist to actively actually feeling like this year I have a business that I can run. That journey runs directly through Unicorn University. And it wasn't until, okay, and it wasn't just joining and just being a passive member. It wasn't until I did my personal thread. It wasn't until I started to utilize the groups, as and I'll break it down for you. I basically look at the general chat as a big pep rally for the day, right? All the traders are in there. Ash is in there. We're shooting the breeze. you have in your coffee? Who doesn't drink coffee? Nate, I don't think you drink
I don't.
coffee. Who knows? Yeah, who knows who drinks coffee? It doesn't matter, but we're getting kind of fired up for the day. And then cash open happens. Now, for me, I trade oil and I trade metals. I also trade indices, but oils and metals, they cash opens at 9 o'clock. So at 9 o'clock, I've gone from hello to everybody, the camaraderie, okay, the fellowship, and now I'm in what I call the trading floor for myself. And my fellow traders are in that group. And obviously I can move from CL group over to silver or to gold. And a lot of times you'll see the same guys and gals in there, right? But it's like it's a fascinating thing when you finally engage with the Discord, how much you get out of it. So I look at it has three. I have basically three legs of the Discord. I have the camaraderie, and you start developing relationships. I have the trading floor where it's down to business with that particular pair. We're trying to make money. We're bouncing ideas off each other. We're getting data from each other. And then it's the personal side, which is the personal thread. And you feel kind of silly at first putting yourself out there because what the hell do I know? But in reality, there's somebody that's one step ahead of you and one step behind you that's getting a lot of value out of it. And I didn't realize that until I started going on other people's personal threads. And I started, wow, look at that. And you start to see how it doesn't matter if you're ICT, you don't need that level. It doesn't matter where you at. Just start to share your stuff. And I never thought in a million years that anybody would care about the things that I post on my personal thread, but they do, and and that's sort of incredible to me, and I'm humbled by that. And so it's a cool feeling because I don't have to be ICT. I don't have to be the greatest trader in the world. I'm just sharing my thoughts, and everybody's really, that's one of the things that you guys do a great job of, man. Is just keeping this Discord professional. And you have people from all walks of life, and I've told you about this, Nate, that like it's not just young people in this group; it's everyone, right? So you have old, you have middle age, you have young, and the reason we're all here is because it's professional, and everyone's getting value out of it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we strive for, which we preach on almost, I feel like, every stage, is that we don't want this to be a toxic, or at least become some toxic, just like unprofessional type of community. We're always very on top of stuff like that. We just want it to be a helpful and positive group. That's all. I mean, for years it's been that way. We have always just strived to make sure that it stays positive, it stays helpful, it stays educational, and we don't put people down, or we even when people are like joking about stuff, we try to make sure that even sometimes things don't come across the right way in text, right? Like over voice, things, they sound different. So somebody might type something in it, and if they're joking but it's kind of in a maybe sarcastic way, and it's not coming off, we'll say, we try to just make sure that I should say, we try to not over police everybody, but we do make
Yeah,
sure that we keep this professional. And that being said, with the premium groups specifically, we rarely are even doing any of that. I mean, that is like, it's been active for we're almost at a full year now of existing, and we have had like 0.0001% of like policing, quote unquote, or like issues or moderating or whatever in there, because everybody that joins is, like I said, it's everybody's positive, everybody's just trying to become better. You like just exactly how you said it. There's always one person ahead of you and one person behind you, and everybody is just at a different level trying to just get better. And nobody wants to be a part of a community that is, that's where people are bashing each other, even if it is in like a
100%. Yeah,
joking way or whatever, because some people are sensitive about, like how you said, it's actually, to touch on what you said, you did not think anybody would care about what you would type into the chat or anything in your personal thread, or like, who cares, right? And then you come to realize,
100%.
oh wow, like people do care. I'm getting messages, people are like telling me I'm doing a good job, people are asking me questions, blah blah blah. It's like you never know. You don't want to put people down even in a joking way, or at least we don't want that in our community, because you just don't know how somebody is going to respond, and it might deter them from sharing anything that they have going on. And there are people who don't share anything, and again, this is another thing that I always am saying in all of the stages. There are people that don't talk at all, and we try to make it as comfortable as possible for people so that they can participate, because like how you said, you would have never known that just participating in the community would have benefited you this much in your growth in the community.
Yeah. So let me make this point. This is important. The what you think you're getting if you join the Discord, right, is the unicorn model, an understanding of narrative. Maybe you learn how to do bias. This is what you're thinking you're getting. And by the way, all these things are fantastic. Okay, but what you're really getting when you join in and participate, the real gold is the relationships, the camaraderie, the bouncing ideas off, the understanding. There's just a ton of people that have the exact same um, questions that you have, and that you can actually really develop your trading, your whole trading business by being active within the Discord. And like I said, it sounds like a shameless plug. I don't care, because got me to that's what got me to what I felt like a lone voice in the wilderness with my trading. To have a plan. I'm capitalized. I'm going to deploy this. A lot of people on here talk about Arrow because we love the way he approaches his business and his model and his mindset, and and the way he presents things. Obviously, I mean, I'm not very good at Notion, okay, but I get a lot of value, all right, out of looking at the other traders, how they process and put out their analysis. My whole trading trajectory changed by getting active in the Discord, and so that would be my advice to anybody who's on here, that's maybe just goes in and just takes a peek. It doesn't say much. I get it, right? I didn't want to say anything either. But my advice would be, you don't really understand the gold that is just getting involved. Get in one of the trading rooms, right? Get in the indices room and just start throwing ideas out there. Start asking questions. Get in the CL gang, right? We'll jump you into the gang, no problem. But like, get involved, because that was the key to me feeling like feeling confident about my business going forward. And like I said before that, kind of like out in the wilderness, okay, with a little bit of ICT knowledge, which is kind of dangerous, because now you just got a bunch of stuff in your head. You don't really know how to implement it. And what I'm hoping is that, personally, I'm thinking, my God, if I trade long enough, do I become like ICT? I hope not.
You just lose your mind.
Yeah, no, exactly. You completely lose it, okay? And I would share that for everybody in the world to see it. I mean, it's terrible. But no, you can run your business the way Matt runs his business. Calm, collected, rule based. I originally thinking when he said he only took 2 trades a week, I was like, what? I'm taking 5 trades a day. What's wrong with you? But you realize, from you go to his win rate notion, or his for the year, or you look at Arrows, or you look at some of these people, and frankly, if you look at mine for the last 3 months, the wins and the weekly gains in RR come from being selective on the days that you're going to trade, the times, understanding the economic calendar, and only trading during these certain times, and stop trying to do everything, right? And as soon as you do that, you start to become profitable, or at least the process that you're implementing starts to feel good. There's positive reinforcement when you follow the process, even if you lose the trade. I really believe that. If you lose a trade and you did everything right, that's totally fine. That's a business expense.
Yep. That's
But if
exactly what Matt
you
says too. Yep.
yeah, but and by the way, I still do this. I still will. I'll take a trade. I'll make an excuse to myself that I'm just on a P, not a PA account, but I'm still on a combine, and I'll take this one as a flyer, and I'm always regret that because even if I win the trade, it wasn't part of my plan. And I know everybody struggles with this. Everybody does. It's just human nature. This is what I see every day at the casino I work. It's human nature to want to get involved in a setup, even if it's not quite right for you. So, that's the thing that I admire in Matt and how he runs his business, and that's how I want to run mine. And I think everybody really does at the end of the day. They know that to be in check with your emotions is the only way to operate.
Right. It's like you said, when you take, and I mean, I'm guilty of this as well. It's like when you take a trade and you knew you shouldn't have taken it, right? If you're the type of person where you have, created your model, or you know what you're gonna do, you have your game plan, and then you go against it. Even it's exactly how you said it. Even when you win, the win is not nearly as satisfying because it feels like, oh, well, I got lucky. Like there's no like, maybe not lucky,
Yeah.
but you kind of do feel that way. It's like there is no
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, there's no like positive reinforcement, like you had said, behind it because
Lucky. Yeah.
you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You just kind of did something and it worked out. So you're like, yay, but you don't really feel like you like achieved something. It just feels like you
Yes.
won.
Yeah. Lucky is an empty emotion. There is nothing there to hold on to learn from, to store, to store with your own personal, capital that you have to move forward. Lucky doesn't help anything. Process does. And when I started to reframe how I saw my trading, which was if I can follow my process, I'm happy. A process win is a win where I basically took the right trade, and even if I lost the trade, it's still a win to me if I follow my process. There's just something about reframing, uh, for me at least, reframing the trading business to just understand that. And um, there are books on this, right? I mean, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but uh, Mark, he's it's the trading in the zone, right? He talks about this a lot. Like you've got to get into uh, uh, a probabilistic mindset versus an emotional mindset. It's so hard to do that. And the way to do it is to reframe what is a success for you on a day. Is it winning money, or is it following your process and implementing the risk management plan that you set out to?
Hmm.
That's the win. And at least that's helping me sort of frame my business from a less emotional standpoint. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, it all that it comes down to is there is a correlation, right? It's like I did
Yes.
something and I got a result, as opposed to and by doing something I mean like following your process, and then versus I'm not doing anything, aka not following your process, achieving a result. And then you like whatever regardless of the result, you're not going to feel good. Like if you win, you're like, I mean, yeah, that's great. I mean, if somebody is not approaching this from like a business standpoint, like how you are, then yeah, sure, like a win is a win. That doesn't matter.
Sure.
But that's
Yeah.
that's gambling, so that's not even the point. But like if you lose, especially if you lose, then I mean, you're gonna feel even worse because then it's like, oh, I didn't even do what I set out to do, and now I'm taking a hit because of it. So the loss feels bad. Whereas if you take a trade, you follow your process, and then you lose, you don't feel nearly as bad. And the thing, it's because you were like, well, I did what I was gonna do, and here's
That's
this is
right.
a learning opportunity. And it could be a learning opportunity. It could be, oh, I did everything that I could, and it is what it is because the market can and the market will do whatever it wants. And that's also a thing that Matt. I mean, obviously, you've said that previously in the conversation, but Matt
Yeah.
also to add to that, when you watch him, and his streams, he had a loss this week or last week or whatever it is. I can't remember, but he had a loss recently, and just like everybody, and he's
Yep.
live on streaming a trade that ended up being a loss, And instead of raging and, being like, oh, this is so stupid, he's in front of a, I mean, it depends on how, if it's YouTube or premium or
Yeah,
whatever, but at least like 100 to 150 people minimally. And he's like, all right, guys, well, there it is. There you have it. There's, the trade. It's, it didn't work out in our favor, but, we stayed true to our bias. We followed the plan. We executed everything
exactly.
properly. We did it all and we lost. And it's just a business expense. And, we did what we could, but, we don't. And then he starts to reiterate, we don't revenge trade. We don't, get emotional.
Yep.
We get away from the screen. And again, it's just like that mentality is like, that's what everybody needs to do when they're trading. They need to have that mentality, because that's what's going to create the longevity for trading, for individuals trading in the market. Because the second you let your emotions get the best of you, it's a wrap. It's over. And nobody's perfect, but the idea, the goal is to be as in control as possible for as long as possible, and not let the times where you do get emotional take over and just ruin everything that you've worked for.
100%.
Um
100%.
but yeah, I mean, the fact that you've achieved all of this in such a relatively short amount of time. I mean, like, how long have you actually been in the community specifically, like whether it's like I guess when you actually join the Discord, like the public Discord?
Uh, 8 months.
Oh yeah, so like less
You know,
than.
it's yeah,
Yeah. So like,
definitely less than a year.
so then you joined like probably when we were just starting up the premium group then.
Yes, that's
Okay,
100% right.
gotcha.
Yep.
Man, that's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy like how people have. I mean, again, it's like in 8 months, right? In less than a year, you achieved $2.5 million in funding, like just from.
Yeah, which which is nothing at this point, right? Because I haven't had a payout. But
Right.
my goal for just to reframe that, my goal for 2024 was to build this prop capital.
Right.
I did it. I achieved it, and I did it primarily through joining the Discord, getting involved, finding a process, getting help with regards to how to kind of supercharge the using the OSOK to sort of get a head start with some of these. But like I wouldn't have been able to do any of that without joining the Discord. So, but I haven't had a payout yet. This is my goal for 2025. I'm gonna be documenting that on X and obviously on my personal thread. Everybody will be able to see it. And help hold me accountable too, because I think that's part of what the personal thread is for, right?
It
It's you're
is.
holding yourself accountable.
Yep.
People are getting you start to want to show up because people will come on your Discord buddies will go on and they may want to see something that you have to say, which is fascinating to me because who the hell wants to hear from me? But I want to hear from them. But I want to hear from them, right? I'm looking at their personal thread. So then I start to get it, and you want to show up. That's the cool thing. I mean, hell, Trader Kyra, he's on this Discord talking to people at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what the hell he's talking to them about, because he lives on the East Coast. But I give it up to the professors. They're um, they're amazing, right? And just everybody that contributes. I've never seen somebody ask a question, frankly, where Jimmy, Jimmy Olivero, or eat more chicken, my chicken, where they haven't come in and helped people out, and they'll pop into your personal threads as well, which is very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that you're still I know you keep like downplaying it a little bit, like the 2.5 million in funding, because yes, okay, sure, you haven't received a payout. I do want to acknowledge though that, like, if you really think about it, people think they need to make $1 million tomorrow, right? It's like that's like the
Right.
whole, it's like instant gratification of like, trading and just like people in general nowadays, just because of like, technology and where we are now in our society. But it's like, if you really think about it, right? In 1 year, let's just say it's 1 year because it's 2024. We're coming to a close here. So in 1 year, you were able to achieve $2.5 million in funding, and then now your goal 2025 is to get a payout. So for everybody that's listening, that means that, so okay, yes, it wasn't like, a week that it took him, like that he didn't do this overnight. But if you really think about it, like hypothetically, right? You have your funded accounts now. Now 2025 is around the corner. Now you're going into that year with the foundation. You're going into that year
That's
with
right.
you built it up. You built up the business, right? And now 2025, I mean, it's off to the races now. You have all of the tools at your disposal to now actually start getting like insane payouts if you really wanted to go crazy with it. Obviously, you're going to have your own discipline, your own risk management. You're going to have your whole system going into this, just like you have been with everything that you're doing.
That's right.
But I mean, the sky is the limit at this point because you have set up the foundation for. It took you 1 year, and in some people's brains, that's like, oh my god, that's an eternity. But it's not at all. So my point being is that in 2 years, which people might think is an eternity, that could become like, you know what I mean? That could become it for like next year could be the year that you make, 6 figures plus in payouts. Like, who knows? It's a full year, and as long as you stay disciplined, you stay responsible, you manage your risk properly, yada yada.
That's right.
You're this again. I'm going to say it again. The sky is the limit, and it's going to potentially take 2 years, and that might sound like a long time, but man, that is not a long time at all to achieve such
No.
an incredible goal of like you said, becoming your own boss, obtaining that freedom. Like I would 10 times out of 10 I'm going to risk 2 years or you know what I mean, like do something for 2
Yeah.
years to then achieve the freedom forever, because then
That's
at
right.
that point that's the goal, right? It's like it's to obtain the freedom and to be your own boss indefinitely. So you
Yep.
are going to, I mean, I can see it happening. Like, obviously you will always want to stay grounded. You want to stay disciplined. But I mean, with our conversation and the way it's been going and just the path that you've been on, I can't imagine you not achieving success next year. And to the also, we're not even there yet. Like, we're going into the
Yeah.
holiday season too. So like you still
That's
have
right.
time to do, whatever you're planning on doing. But you still got, a month and a half, a little under a month and a half to, set yourself up, lock it in for 2025, enjoy the holidays, spend it with family, maybe take a little
Exactly.
break, or maybe not break, but, just take it easy, not go too crazy, and
Yep.
then go, hit the ground running the second 2025 hits.
You got it. That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the
And
plan.
yeah, I mean, I love to hear that. I love to hear that you're just doing such, I mean, I'm going to say one more time just so everybody hears it. $2.5 million in funding, less than a year. This man is out of his mind. He's going crazy over here. I mean, and I know
Yeah.
that a lot of people are hearing that going, man, like, I want to get there someday. And as long as you guys have this mentality that we've been discussing, and honestly, the mentality of all of the people that I've, or we as a community have brought on the student stage, as long as you continue to strive for the goals that you set for yourself, and you continue to, build on top of what your current goals are, and set new checkpoints for yourself, and you're hitting those checkpoints, I can't see everybody can do it. Everybody can achieve what Storm is describing here for us today. Because especially if you guys are here, whether you're here right now listening, or if you're listening to the recording on YouTube, you're taking a step in the right direction, especially if you're just listening for the first time, right? Like Storm just happened to stumble across Ash in one of his streams on YouTube, and now look at him. Look at how far he's come in the past 8 months, not even a full calendar year. He's come so far from, I mean, obviously he had some experience coming into it with ICT and whatnot, but the sheer the fact you were able to take it to this level and take so many steps ahead towards your goal of being your own boss and being financially free in such a short period of time is a testament to your personality and who you are as a person and your drive, and also a testament to the fact that anybody can do this as long as you just
That's right.
you keep your head down, you stay locked in. all of you can achieve this, and I always say this because it's such a fact. Like anybody can do this, and that's why I get so happy when I hear you guys on the stage talking about all of your success stories, because we always bring you guys on, and everyone's always wondering why they're coming on to the interview. They're coming on for the stage. Everybody's like, why me? Maybe not everybody, but at least most of the responses I get are why me. And I'm like, because you're awesome. You're doing a great job. You're being successful. You're doing a good job. So
Can I tell you something real quick,
Yeah,
Nate?
yeah.
When you reached out to me, because there's a lot of scammers out there. Okay, there's a lot of ass trades guys. I'm thinking, oh yeah, somebody got a hold of White Chocolate's name there, and this is a scam.
Yeah.
In about a minute, he's gonna ask me to send him some Ethereum. 100%.
I mean, I guess I could have. Maybe I could have made out. I could have made out on this.
Yeah. So anybody out there, when White Chocolate does reach out to you, it's really him. I mean, hopefully,
Hopefully,
but
hold
don't
on.
send
Yeah.
Ethereum.
Make sure it's me.
But don't send Ethereum to anyone you don't know. Hey, that's my.
Oh, that's true. We've never said that actually.
Yeah.
I don't think on any of the stages, or maybe we have. I don't know, but we obviously say it all the time. Do not send money to somebody through like a DM or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. One time this is a long time ago. I never sent any money to anybody, but I did receive a follow, or I got added, I think, on Discord or something and it was like a big, it was one of the really, really big influencers. And I really wasn't paying attention, and I thought, oh wow, this person added me, and it's somebody who's like very prevalent in the trading community.
Yeah.
And I thought it was them.
Yeah.
And then for like maybe 5 minutes, I was like, yo, like so-and-so added me. And then I realized, I was like, oh, it's not. And then I immediately blocked them. But I mean, I get it. Sometimes you just kind of don't look for a second. You just sort of like, luckily I was, I always pay attention, but you never know. Like, so yeah, word of advice to everybody. Definitely make sure that you are not dealing with a scammer, and do not send any money to anyone ever, anywhere, unless you are making like a real purchase through something that's verified on the internet. Like on our WAP page for the premium group, you gotta go to. You never just, if somebody's hitting you up saying you want to join the premium group, here, send me money, you gotta go to our WAP page if you want to join the premium group. Unicorn University, it's on, it's linked in like Matt's bio for his Discord profile. It's all over all of our social medias, which again, make sure you're following the right ones. If you're gonna join the premium group, do not just listen to somebody trying to get money from you. You got to purchase it yourself. We make sure that we put it on our social medias very clear, so that there's no issues with people trying to locate it. But yeah, I was a little bit sidetracked there with the scammers. But yes, do not send anything to people. Don't. I mean, we've heard some stories, and it is not fun. So please. Do not do that.
That's my parting statement. I have nothing else.
Yes.
Just don't send. Yeah.
Well, hold on now. Well, I mean, so what? That's what I was gonna wrap it up here. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Where can people like find you social media wise? Like, is there any socials that you got out there, just so people can, if they want to come and follow you anywhere, like Twitter, anything like that, Instagram?
Yep. I'm not that great at Twitter, but I'm trying to learn from some of the guys and gals from the CL gang, so we're ripping it up on there. But I'm at stormtrades_edu, and you can always reach out to me on the Discord. Just like I said, don't ask me to send you money, and I'll know it's somebody for real. And no, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I don't think any of us who get on here really think that we have much to offer. What I told you earlier was I just wanted to speak my truth on my experience on the Discord. And like I said, I don't care if that sounds like an advertisement, because it is the truth. So, if you're speaking the truth, then there's nothing else you could do. So I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone that I interact with on a daily basis on the Discord. It's awesome. I'm 41 years old, and I never thought 10 years ago, if somebody told me that I was going to be on Discord every day, what I consider just for people who were playing video games, I would have laughed at. I would have laughed. But like now I come here every day. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to thank you guys again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you for coming on and just giving us your time. Obviously, you're a busy man, so I'm glad that you came on here and talked to all of us. And like I said before, be sure to go check out Storm Trades on all of his social medias. Message him on Discord if you want to have a conversation with him, or join the premium group if you want to talk amongst everybody in the premium group, in the CL group that he was talking about. They'd be happy to have you, or any of the other groups that we have in the premium group. And also be sure to go and check out anybody in the previous student stages as well. If you guys haven't seen any of them, go check them out. They all have a ton of value. I believe that anybody who does have social media that has been on the stage that you guys can follow, I believe that they have been put in the descriptions of the videos. So I am going to double check that just to make sure that that they are. But I believe that everybody who has social medias out there, they are in the bios of all the student stages. So be sure to, if you're listening right now, go check this one out on YouTube. It will be on YouTube later today. If you're watching it on YouTube, go check out the other stages. They have so much value. I mean, all these people that we bring on all are such valued members of the community. They get shared left and right in the public community just because of how valuable they are. So I'm glad that you were able to come on Storm and share your experience with us. And it is very inspiring, just like everybody else that's been on here. So once again, thank you for coming on. Highly appreciate you taking the time to speak with all of us. And to everybody that's listening right now, happy Friday. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. If you guys have any plans, enjoy them. We will be back to do another student stage in 2 weeks with our next guest. And just be sure to stay tuned for that. And we'll see you guys next time. So everybody, have a great rest of your Friday. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah, of course, man. Have a good rest of your day, all right?
Yep.